Hey guys, Namaste and welcome to our YouTube channel Tutor Pratik. Today in our CSS session, we are going to learn about display properties. So on this session, we will learn about various values of display property and the differences between them. And also we learn how to use them for better display styles for our web pages. So keep watching the video till end. And before we start, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe our YouTube channel and press the bell button that you could be notified whenever we publish our new session videos. Now let's begin today's session. The display property is the most important CSS property for controlling layouts. The display property specifies how an element is displayed. Every HTML element has a default display values depending on what type of element it is. The default display values for most elements is block or inline. Some block elements are div, headings, p, etc. And some inline elements are span, e, img, etc. Here I had some block elements like h1, h2, h3 and some inline elements like a tags. Now on our web page we can see that the block elements like heading 1, heading 2 and heading 3 are in different lines, and the inline elements, these a tags, are in a single line. So a block level elements always on a new line and takes up the full width available, but an inline elements does not start on a new line and only takes up as much width as necessary. We can also override these default display values, like we can change these inline elements into block elements and vice versa. Let's have one example. This li element is normally has a block display, so these list items are always displayed vertically. Now for making horizontal menu, let's convert its display into inline. For this, let's define its display into inline. Li display inline. Now we can see that when we change its display into inline, in our web page, our list items display style changes into inline. And for making these list items as a menu, we can give some paddings and background colors. Here, by changing the display property into inline for our li elements, we can create these horizontal menu items. Similarly, let's create some A elements which are on default inline display. Here, these A elements are on default inline display. So now let's change it into this block display that we can create the vertical menus. For this, on our style A element, we will give a display property to block, which makes our A elements display to the block and which can be used for creating vertical menus. Now let's give some CSS properties for looking better this vertical menu bar. In this way, by changing the display style to inline or block, we can create our elements display styles as per our requirement. Along with this, if we have to give height and width for our inline element, we have another value for display property, that is Inline-Block. By using this Inline-Block value, we can allow to set width and height on the element. Let's have one example. Here I have one paragraph, and inside the paragraph I added this span tag which are in default inline display, But now I am converting this default inline display into Inline-Block display style. So we can give this height and width for our span element. So according to our CSS definition, we have two span elements inside our paragraph and it has height and width of 100 pixels. If we change this inline block into just inline, these height and width given are not applied to our span element. So by using this inline block display value, we can also give this height and width value for our elements. Along with this, to make hidden or make invisible, we can use the value none for the display property. For this, first of all, let's give different classes for our two spans. Class A, and for another span, let's give a class B. Now on our CSS definition, let's give different properties for our two classes. For now, in our two classes, span A and span B, we gave the same properties. If we change the display of class B span to none, we can see that our B span has disappeared from our web page. So to make hide any elements on our web page, we can use display value as none. Similarly, to make invisible any HTML elements, we can also use another property, visibility hidden. Now we use this visibility hidden property for our B class span, but in our web page we can see that even our span B class is invisible, it still occupied a space on our web page. And again, when we use display none instead of this visibility hidden, we can see that there is no any spaces that occupied by this hidden element. So as by example, it is clear that using display none makes not only object hidden, it also removes the space occupied by it. But visibility hidden only hides the object, but still it occupies its space. In this way, by using these various values of display property in CSS, we can make out the HTML elements display styles as per our requirement. That's all for today. We will come back soon with new interesting session videos. Until then, take care, goodbye.